Generally, I'm a guy that likes to do what I like to do.
Hey guys, welcome back. So today we are doing an interview with the famous Mr. David Carr. So, Mr. David Carr,
Yes.
he is currently the newest Dyno tuner in Cape Town, am I right?
Yeah.
He's probably one of the biggest bobbin suppliers in Cape Town, South Africa even, excluding your international guys, but
Yeah.
locally manufactured, old biker, old racer, old tuner,
Road racer,
car racer, everything.
legal car racer. Yeah.
So guys, Mr. David Carr, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
Good. Welcome to the channel.
It's nice to be here.
So this is now my second episode of an impromptu series called Bike. What did I call it? Bike Talk. So this is Bike Talk with with David. Bike Talk with Carr. Bike Talk with Kane. What are we gonna call this one?
I don't know. David.
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 Right. So who is David, and how long have you been around?
Okay. David. His personal life, my personal life, and my business life are somewhat intertwined, but not always the same thing. Generally, I'm a guy that likes to do what I like to do.
Which is play with cars, play with things that go fast.
It started with audio. So came out of school. I was crazy about audio, concerts, amphitheaters, churches, PA, public address kind of thing. I did that for a couple of years. Then I like cars, so I bought some cars, made some cars fast. That was fun. Then I went into car audio. That was quite cool.
15 sub in the boot.
Yeah.
The TV, the
Few of
PlayStation.
those, yeah.
No popcorn machines and waterfalls.
No, I didn't go that far. I go up to a point with something, and then I get bored, and then yeah, I move on.
That's why Ludacris never knocked on your door.
Yeah. Then I used to ride my car, and I used to go for drives in the morning, and you see these idiots on bikes at 5 o'clock in the morning going for breakfast runs. It seemed like the stupidest thing. Why would you? Why? So I bought a bike, and I went on breakfast runs. Oh, okay. Yeah, so maniacs racing up and down the roads. I thought that seems stupid. Let me try that. So did some road racing for a while. I thought I was pretty good. I didn't know. So I came to a racetrack, see how fast everybody else is. I was horrible. I was terrible. I was horribly slow.
What do they call it? They call it barroom racing.
Yeah.
I'm faster than you.
Fast, like, yeah, exactly. So you come to a racetrack, ride, realize you're useless. That took a couple of years. I spent a lot of time on that. I was very bad. It took me a long time to get good. Got quite good. Recently, I figured out I haven't done drag racing in my life, so I thought let me try drag racing. I've been doing that for a couple of years. Kind of got to the level where I want to be. Now, recently, I bought a skateboard. Skateboard. Try that for a
You're
while.
old now. We don't have at our age. There's no more ankles and knees and hips. We can't risk being on a skateboard.
There was a lot of background exercise and fitness involved in me getting on a skateboard. That's hard work, eh? Getting fit at 49 is not easy. But this opens the door for other things. I want to try. I want to do motocross. I want to do surfing,
More
rock climbing. The spinning thing seems really interesting. I want to try spinning.
Spin the bottom.
Spin the car. I want to get Eddie to teach me. It can't be that hard. Yeah,
Lock the steering wheel, drop the handbrake and the clutch, and here we go.
Can't be that hard. I really want to do motocross, and I'm trying to convince Kim to buy jets. Like an E15
I
or
was going to
something.
mention that now with the drag racing story. So with the drag racing, you left out also that you're also a cheerleader.
Yes. I'm a cheerleader, I'm a mechanic, I'm a brolly dolly.
Yeah, because I've noticed Kim's getting the trophies and you not so much. Hey? What happened in the last event?
I didn't enter.
Oh, that's why I didn't see your place.
But if you look over there are two of almost every trophy. Where's the blue one? I think every trophy there's two of.
We moved into the bottom, remember?
We moved into the bottom because we don't have space for all of them. So yeah, there's some more down there, and
We tried to take
Oh, so there's two of it's his and hers.
yeah, but it looks a bit
Oh.
stupid if you put two of that next to two of that next to two of that next to. We
So
do it
now
right. We do it right at Drags. Kim and I spend all of our time together. There's some things she's better at, some things I'm better at. Everybody always wants to compare us. Something always get on to the latest competition. You can't compare because we're on different bikes, we have different skill sets, with different sizes.
Yeah, but those who ride together, you don't stay together. It's your
That's
passion.
right.
It's
In
both
fact,
of your passion.
honestly,
we
from
actually do very badly when we drag together.
yes,
Would you
we're
like to take a
useless.
seat?
Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, she may disagree with me. I think Kim is slightly better at drags than me. But every event we finish between 0.0 something apart. We're always in the same hundredth of a second. So Kim may do a 10.46 and I'll do a 10.48, or I'll do a 10.42, or it's close. It's very, very, very close. And we're on completely different machinery. She's
Different
got a
brands, different CCs, different mods, different
yeah,
genders.
tires.
Unless you identify as a them, the
Yeah.
they.
So the stuff we did on my bike wouldn't work on Kim's bike. I put power into my bike. We take power out of Kim's bike, which is a whole other
Making you
story.
slower. And you see, this is what I spoke about earlier. We completely off. We digress.
So, as a matter of interest, when we started drag racing, I think Kim was on about 115, 118 horsepower on the CBR 600. We turned it down to 92 horsepower to make the bike more rideable. She then did a 10.2. We pushed it up a little bit. She's now on 108, but she's going slower than she did with 92 horsepower.
Because you're not cranking all the way now. You become more and more scared, and the bike lifts and handling and all
And
that.
there's limit on tires. You can't launch with too much horsepower, so you take some power out. The big problem now is gearing of a CBR isn't made for drag strip, so she has to short shift second. When she short shifts, bike comes up. If she taps off a little bit, then she loses time. If she holds it, she goes that
remember
way.
watching Brock's building Jigzilla,
Mm.
the L7.
Yeah.
And when they went to the track, then it was a case of your reaction time, your first, second, third, fourth gear, all of those things. And he looked at the times and he's like, that was the clutch, that was the tire, that was the this, that was the that. And then once you get to the first 200 is done, the second 200 he says, that's just horsepower.
Yes.
You can do nothing about that. There you in top gear, you crank and you're like, So there we need more horsepower, but here we need better handling, better, because you can't get onto the blocks. If you've got too much power, the bike is going up instead of straight. You need to sort out suspension, you need to sort out tires, you need to sort out clutch, you need to sort out everything before the bike can actually ride.
When I started drag racing, I had a goal in mind for myself. I wanted to do a 10 sub. That's what I thought that would make me happy. I know Sean's times, I know Bianca's times, I know everybody's times. I thought a 10 sub would make me happy. I'm currently on my bike like a 10.4 something. I could probably do a 10.3. I rode Regan's bike, I did a 10 North. I exceeded what I wanted a long time ago. I'm having more fun working with her, building her bike, than I am riding.
It's always like that though.
Yeah.
It's
So
always like that. It's because it becomes both of your passions and you.
yeah. So Kim launches, I watch the suspension, I watch this and watch that, come back, say, I want to try something. And there you go. So I'm having a lot of fun behind the scenes.
And when you're the pilot, it's a bit more difficult to analyze your own stuff, and you're asking other people to watch.
Yes, and nobody really knows.
And you're asking them to record, and they don't. Then you can't see it on the video.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more exciting to have a pilot separate to the tuner.
They are obviously legends. I don't profess to be as good as them. I don't want to be as good as them. When I started, I got Bianca and Kat both to come watch me and tell me what I'm doing wrong. They helped me a lot. Loads of respect for them. They will always be legends out there.
And then you've got Reese also doing what, the 8 point what? Where is he now?
Fast. 8.5 or something like that.
But again, I mean, then it becomes what I used to call the guys on the when I was doing not the breakfast run class, but when I was doing track schools, it becomes checkbook racing. It's now a case of, right, I can buy me that S1000 RR or that the latest Suzuki or the latest Honda. Q1 selling his bike for $500,000.
It's bargain though.
Yeah, you're buying a lot of bike.
Yeah.
But it's checkbook racing now. I've got my little 30,000 Rand CBR 1000 and you've got your 500,000 Rand CBR 1000. Let's see who's gonna win.
Yeah.
The problem I have with competition is sometimes you get so wrapped up in the competition you forget what your actual aim was. So you may be planning this and then you start competing with somebody and you go down the whole wrong road.
And then it doesn't become fun anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now you've got tips at home with your wife, you're spending too much money. Why must you spend 6,000 Rand on a brand new set of slicks?
Clutch starts slipping on a Friday and you have to hide 5,000 Rand to sort the clutch out. And
yeah.
My goal in life, I have a shitbox. That's my shitbox. I do track with it, I ride the roads with it, we do trips with it, we do drag racing with it, I'll do track day, maybe I'll enter a main circuit race. That's all I want. There are people faster than me, there will always be people faster than me.
What's nice though is that you've got one bike and you do it all with that one bike.
Yeah.
Other people again have 4 bikes. Oh, this is my drag bike and this is my road bike and this is my race bike and this is my track bike and
something Kim showed me. She does drags with the bike. And Monday she goes to do nails with it. Then she goes to the beach with it. Then she does a track day with it. And you one bike, it's fine. And you will never be the fastest.
And that's just it. If you're happy,
make yourself miserable trying to be the fastest all the time. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we've digressed. We are here to speak about
me.
Kane Industries.
Kane Industries.
And we're here to speak about the Dyno and what keeps dragging.
I do what I feel like I want to do. I've worked in commerce for a while. I understand how things work, and I realize freedom is the biggest thing. Freedom is more important than money or
go and buy happiness.
Yeah. So a couple of years ago, 2011, I changed my life around a bit, and I set out for freedom. So I largely do what I want to do. I work on bikes. Sometimes I feel like building engines. Yeah, build the engine. Sometimes I feel like doing suspension. I do suspension. Sometimes I want to tune a bike. I tune a bike.
Sometimes I feel like recording a video.
Sometimes I want to do a video.
I said no 3 times, but I'll say yes this time.
Sometimes I don't feel like coming to work, and I don't go to work. But that honestly, that never happens. That probably happened twice in 5 years. But I love what I do. I do what I want to do when I want to do.
So
and I'm kind of figuring out how to make a living out of it.
Your core business right now, bobbins or Dyno?
Bobbins.
Well, bobbins is what started this.
Okay, so 2011, I was selling cars. I was doing well. I was working for Barron's. Yeah, Barron's was doing quite well. And I wanted something more. I didn't know what I wanted more, but I needed something more. I didn't feel fulfilled. At the time I started racing, I found these crash bobbin things. Guys love them in America. I asked around here, nobody knew what the hell was it. So I thought maybe it's time for me to make a legacy. I'm going to make a product and try to sell it. So I dedicated 6 months of my life, made the perfect crash bobbin, went through engineers, plastics, types of plastics, changed the design, I watched videos, perfect, made the perfect product. No one bought it. Just no one knew about me. So for like the first year, I think I managed to give 3 sets away. And then I think the first sale came after 2 years, and then I just had to wait for somebody to crash. Their buddy saw it, they bought it, and rippled on for.
It's one of those things you don't know that you need it until you need it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
there were also a lot of people doing crash bobbins wrong, so everybody hated the stuff when I started. Yeah, so there are a lot of myths I had to dispel, and there was a lot of stuff I had to change.
I think I remember the if you don't have the right rubber, it needs to be something that's soft and slides.
Soft and slides.
And
if it's too hard, it's a problem.
The whole bike, it causes the bike more damage.
Aluminum or steel. So I started doing that. The problem was I couldn't make any money doing that because nobody would buy the bobbins. Because I was racing, a lot of people wanted me to change the oil on the brake pads, which made no sense because, okay, I'll change oil. So I changed oil, I changed brake pads, started doing suspension, I did some engine work. Workshop arose from a need, went on and on and on, and workshop is still running. I don't particularly like workshop, but it's nice to eat and it's nice to have food and live in a house and not under a bridge. So I do workshop. Bobbins is picking off since lockdown, and Kim, mostly Kim. Bobbins is amazing. So Kim makes, I feel like a kept man. Kim makes the good money these days, and I play with ECUs.
So at the moment, your bobbins are available on Takealot.
Takealot, Amazon, GFP, Alex at GFP, amazing products. He's got everything. You must check out the website. Our bobbins on there. He sells quite a bit, and we have a website or online store.
Direct through that.
Yeah,
Facebook, and even coming here to Killarney.
At the moment, online sales 90% of our sales. Bike workshops, Mad Max, Project 60, Suzuki South, Motorcycle World. Almost everybody buys it. Smaller workshops also.
And even Clayton's Garage.
Even Clayton's Garage. We try to make it accessible to everybody. Interesting thing, I decided not to make a lot of money out of it, but rather to sell a lot of it.
Yeah.
I mean, people can't believe how little money we make with crash bobbins. But if we sell enough, everybody's happy.
And that's the thing, is that you don't want to price yourself out of the market and then the guy's like, well, then I can rather go buy me a name there.
Yeah, exactly.
And at the moment, I think you're actually grown to the point where you have become a name brand.
We have found that, yes. In the beginning, shops used to take our bobbins off, and now clients are coming into shops asking for our name, so nobody takes the stickers off anymore.
And I remember around about 2011 when a friend of mine, he had a lathe at work, and he also made up his own little bobbins.
Yeah.
But it was just this black piece of rubber thing, Teflon, whatever it was at the time, and it was bolted to his bike. And then the next guy had the same thing, except this one had a Kane sticker on it. I'm like, oh wow, this is cool. Who is this?
Yeah,
and I thought it was legitimately an imported product.
Yeah. We get a lot of competition every year. Somebody comes into the scene and says, I'm gonna make bobbins. We're gonna be rich. After like 4 sets, they realize there's no fucking money in this, and then they stop. So there have probably been 30, 40 people over the last 10 years that have tried, and after a month they realize there's absolutely no money in crash bobbins.
Yeah, you need the numbers.
Big numbers. I learned that from China. They don't play.
That's produced.
Yeah. So.
And now we're on dyno tuning.
Dyno tuning.
You've been a dyno tuner for how long now? The baby in the industry.
Yes. But that's an interesting story, because when I was always into engines, I was always into cars, always into bikes. So I've been doing that for 20 years. The important thing is dyno tuning isn't one thing. I built engines. I built over 500 engines before. I built and raced many bikes. I built bikes for other customers to road race, drag race. I get feedback from them. I know what the engine, I know every single part inside the engine and how you can change every part to go better or worse. It's never better or worse, it's always a compromise. I know how suspension works, I know how this works, I know how that works, I know every single part of every single thing about a bike. So now I can tune. With workshop, we built engines, I did carbs. In about 2000, fuel injection came out. I started playing with power commanders and bazaars. That was great. And then in about 2008, the governments of the world started putting restrictions on ECUs for emissions and volume, and to save some people's lives because they aren't ready for that kind of power. Yeah.
And also global warming and all of that stuff.
So I ignored it for a while, and I just kept myself busy on power commanders. And a couple of years ago, it's ridiculous now. There's no way you cannot crash a I stand under correction. A 2024 GS6000 makes the same power stock as a 2008 GS6000. And they develop the motor every single year. So you've got all of those restrictions just waiting to be unlocked. Most of the new 1000 you get 20 horsepower, laptop half an hour, if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, it's going to take a few motors to figure out what you're doing. You may not know why you blew it up. The important thing is the restrictions in the ECU. I know how an engine works. I know how the cams work. I know why the timing is like this. I know why the fueling is like that. I have a very good understanding of what's going on. You can't just buy cables and change some numbers and hope that it'll go faster. And it's not gonna work.
I remember back in the day when I got my first power commander. Put it on my bike, and I was like, right, I've got this exhaust. What is this? It's an Arrow exhaust. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I've got this pipe across air filters. Go onto the website, download a random map of the website, plug it onto my power commander, and ha!
Here we go.
And then you get on the bike, and suddenly you feel faster.
Yeah, no, you're definitely not fast. So I've been doing ECUs for 3 years. Prior to that, I've been doing power commanders. Prior to that, I've been doing carbs. Power commanders is also tuning. Carbs also tuning.
Really,
I've been
it's
tuning
all
since
about-
'97.
It's all about how much fuel you're pushing into that motor to get the bang, to get the thing to turn faster. I mean, I've heard of guys, they knife edge the crank, they change the bearings, they change the oil, they're changing everything, they're removing all the restrictions to get more airflow into the air, into the air ducts.
I'm busy. In my part-time, I study thermodynamics. There's a lot of stuff we don't know. Heat, humidity, temperature, when the flame is more flammable. I've been flashing for 3 years now. I've been tuning since '97. How many years is that?
Almost 30.
Yeah.
You're 2 years short of 30.
Tuning carbs did help me flashing ECUs. Tuning power commanders helped me. Building turbo cars helped me flash ECUs. So
Obviously the turbo is the best. That's where you really get to understand tuning.
and the
I
difference
remember
between
my
turbocharging and
cousins-
supercharging and naturally aspirated
Yeah.
and nitrous.
I remember my cousin back in the day
Insane.
when we were still lighties, and he's like, no, it's too warm now. I can't go race.
Exactly.
the air is too
Exactly.
thin. Like, hey, no, we must race at night. That's when the air is on the stickers when it's about to
Exactly.
rain. Then my air molecules are condensed, and I get better performance out of my car.
Yeah, perfect. And the older I'm getting, the wiser I'm getting, the more I'm learning that we know nothing about what we are talking about. There are men in lab coats in
Yes.
Japan and Germany that know so much. We don't know what we're doing.
But again, we digress. So back to Mr. Car and Mr. Kane. So
At one
where
stage
does the
of-
name Kane Industries
Okay,
come
so
from?
2011, even though the company started in 2011, like I said, I was doing this long time before 2011. I quit my job and I did this professionally and tried to make a living from it since 2011. I wanted a legacy, and more importantly, 19 years ago, I didn't know what this country would be like now. So I started a business called Kane Industries with the intention of a future for my children. I didn't know what they need, so Kane, my daughter is Calista,
Oh,
CA, my son is Shane, NE, two of them together, Industries. I don't know if it's going to be Kane Industries Fashion, Kane Industries Cheese, Kane Industries Art, Kane Industries. So there was a very specific reason for Kane Industries. It's when they're done studying it, they can't get a job. My daughter's studying
They can take it
psychology,
further.
my son's studying IT, Kane Industries psychologists, Kane Industries software. I don't know. So that's where the name comes from. Not
also,
alcohol,
Kane
it's not
Industries could have been
furniture.
the holding company, and we could have had all these other Bobbins, Kane Psychology, Kane Pharmaceuticals.
So that's why it's industries and not bikes
Uh,
or tuning or this or that,
okay.
because I don't know where they're going.
Hmm.
We'll see where they end
Where
up.
they take, hopefully
But
one day. They
yeah,
take
that's
over.
what the industries is for, and Kane is a combination of that.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Never ever bothered to actually ask.
Is it? Nobody knows. Everybody calls me Mr. Kane or David Kane.
Yes.
Or, no. It's my children's names.
Okay. So now, okay, can I come back to the Dyno story? Like you're the baby in the Dyno industry.
Yes, the baby.
Now there's a lot of guys that's been doing this. There's the OGs. There's Dyno, there's Julian. They've been around since as long as I can remember. Then there's the guys that I saw up and coming. There's the Jalils and the Terrys, Tuning and Garian and
Mona Blake.
Yes, he's now also starting a workshop. And
they've been doing it.
You also.
Yeah.
I think you and Mona kind of got the Dyno at the same time.
No. He's secretly had a Dyno for a long time. He's had a Dyno for a long time.
You used to do functions, yes.
Yeah, he doesn't really want to advertise and he don't want to go into tuning battles and. So Danny and Julian maybe don't sit around the same campfire. They have different opinions about a lot of things. I love both of them. I respect both of them. I work with both of them.
I think my first bike was my first CBR was what came out of Julian's hands.
Okay.
Oh, I love that bike. And I took it back to him. And Julian's one of those guys where he's an excellent guy, excellent mechanic. You will get the best service out of him, but you are going to pay. Yes. And I think Danny's the same.
You see, it's not wrong that they charge what they charge. I have personally, Julian did a lot of bikes for me. Danny did a lot of bikes for me. I'm a customer of both of them. I'm a huge fan of both of them. The things that they know, choose any one of them. Choose Julian, for example. Julian knows more than Gary and Teddy, myself, and Mornay, and everybody, all of us combined.
In his one pinky.
When I go to Julian, we speak for hours, and the faults that he's found over the years with his experiences, things are. Kim has to drag me out of them and go. He knows so much, and you have to respect that.
And if that man's going to charge you 4,000 Rand for spending 5 minutes on your bike, or the next guy is charging you 4,000 Rand for spending 5 hours on your bike, the bike is still fixed.
Yeah.
So who cares it was only 5 minutes?
Their experience is worth a lot. They also have a certain way of doing things, and there's a reason they do things that way. You have to respect them. You have to respect them. They are the legends.
They're the OGs in Cape Town.
Yeah. I didn't always have a dyno, but I was tuning. I don't like dynos. There are a lot of problems with dynos. Dynos are stupid. Dynos are misunderstood. Dynos
Okay,
are
on that
overrated.
note, we're going to stop the video here. That's it. Thank you for having us. Dynos are great, guys.
Dynos are stupid. Jeez. I used to do tuning on the track or tuning on the road.
Oh, yes.
So I would get a power commander, set it up, get an auto tuner, do a couple of laps. I would do a laps with an AFR gauge on the bike. And while I'm doing laps, I'm watching the air fuel ratio and I'm seeing what happens at half throttle, quarter throttle. Hey, when I close, it goes lean. Why the hell does it go lean? And then I accelerate, and then I notice the air fuel's different coming down the main straight compared to the back straight. Okay, that's interesting. And then occasionally I'd go run the bike by Julian, or go run the bike by Danny. I'd go run a bike by Gary. And oh, that's fascinating. I used to do a lot of road tuning for customers. I have been tuning as long as anybody, but I haven't had a dyno. Recently,
dyno just makes it quicker and easier.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of road tuning. Taxis, people, risk, not worth the effort. The way the business is now, I can't leave, so I can't disappear for a day on the dyno. I mean, on the bike, come back
the rolling dyno.
On the rolling dyno. I believe roads are better for tuning than a dyno, definitely. But the way things are, I have to be on a dyno. So,
okay, so let's just, for those who don't know, what is a dyno?
Okay, they are misunderstood things. They are not the begin all and end all of tuning. They are a tool that the tuner can use to do a few things and a few things only. A good tuner needs a dyno. But it doesn't mean because he has a dyno, he will be a good tuner. You still need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You still need to understand the engine.
You need to know how to read.
Why you're doing, what you're looking for, what you're aiming for. If I get a 08C with 1,000 and I say, I'm going to make 200 horsepower on this thing. And how?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Or what are you going to improve? What are you going to change? Is it going to be reliable? So I can't really say the numbers while I'm busy. I'll see what the bike wants to do.
At the end of the day, you're always starting from a base. You can
you're starting from a base, and
the base varies.
Two bikes are never the same. But I can tell you that if we take a CBR 600 and we change the exhaust and the air filter, I will know what to change inside the flashing or the tuning to get the most out of that. It's obviously got more airflow now. You can change a few things.
But you haven't answered the question.
What's the question?
What is a dyno?
A dyno.
But it's is that roller thingy?
The roller thingy, the turning thingy.
Is there any?
And then there's another PP thing. So,
but I mean, is there any friction on that thing, or is it just free rolling? When you start up your bike and you start riding,
there is friction in the weight and inertia, and some dynos, good dynos, have a loading dyno. So there is a physical brake that you can put on it to create resistance. But that's a whole chat between low dynos and other dynos. That's going to take hours.
So now the reason why I'm asking about the roller, my one friend, he says he'll never ever put his bike in a dyno because it's the same as putting it on the paddock stand and your wheel is just spinning there and then running through the gears.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm like, no, it can't be that. There needs to be a force applied to that wheel, because if I'm in first gear and I just do half throttle, I'm already doing 300 kilometers an hour. So clearly that's not how it works.
A dyno measures torque at any one point. That's what it does. To make things complicated, we add some stuff to a dyno to make it work. So we will also add an air fuel measuring device. Shove it in the exhaust, measures unburned fuel inside the exhaust at one given point. The software on the dyno will let us choose a gear and accelerate from 3,000 revs up to 30 kilometers. And the software of the dyno will measure the torque at various points, put it all together for us, and give us a graph, a torque graph. The air fuel ratio, the air measuring equipment, can then take all of the readings that it had, hundreds of milliseconds of readings, put that on the graph also. The software will then take the torque and through a formula work out horsepower, and that puts it on the graph as well. Everybody looks at a dyno graph and they look at the horsepower at one given point and figure that's their number, and
that's what they're chasing.
The dyno doesn't measure that.
The highest point of the curve.
Yeah, that's stupid, it's retarded, it's the dumbest thing ever.
And then the best part is that your bike redlines at let's say 12,000 RPM. Your highest point is at 10,000 RPM, but then you're still accelerating from 10 till 12, where technically you should have changed at 10.5.
Exactly. A dyno is good for things like you have a 5-to-5 chain on. You do a dyno run, you put on a 520 chain, you do a dyno run again. You'll notice that you lost 2 horsepower. Everybody's upset. But you gained at the bottom, so you gained under 8 and you lost above 10. That's not a bad compromise, because most people will be under 8 more than they'll be above 10. But everybody's worried about that one number. A lot of the times we can tune a bike and I'll get 20, 30, 40% increase under 8,000 revs, but only 5 on top. It's got tuned. It's not about that number.
You forget that actually when you're coming out of a bend and the 2 of you are side by side, you are not at 10,000 RPM.
Exactly.
You are now at 4, 5, 6,000 RPM, and you need to outpull that guy.
Exactly.
And you'll get to 10,000 first.
everybody wants more power than their buddy. They ride once a month on a Sunday with their buddy, and they want to beat him. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you ride your bike in traffic, around town, here, there, everywhere. That's where you need your power. So, yeah, I like tuning for a wide variety of things. Drags, track day, top end runs, commuting, reliability, total health. If somebody specifically goes out to build a drag bike, will be faster than a bike out here.
Of course.
If they go out to build a top end bike, it will be faster. If they're looking for,
it's an on-off switch.
Yeah.
So you're only tuning that.
And with electronics,
100%
yeah.
throttle.
So I will make bikes as good as it can be for everything. And the most important thing is reliable. It must be reliable. Otherwise,
So
I don't want the bike that I tune to ever blow up because of something like that.
dyno versus flashing. Which is better?
Completely different. They have nothing to do with each other at all.
No, but you get a guys, I took my bike to David, he flashed it. I took my bike to David, he put on the dyno. Everybody assumes it's the same thing. So now we need to know. What is the
we
one and
had
what is the other?
carbs up until about 2000. Play with the carb, uncle listened. Oh no, that's wrong. Shh. Oh yeah, your bike's right, go. Brilliant mechanics. I know some of them still.
So with a screwdriver on
Genius men. I think of Trevor Harker. Oh, that man's a legend. Fuel injection came out. Alright, no more carbs. Everybody's bike's equal. But there were still some of us that wanted just a little bit more. You just want to be more equal than your buddy. So for the power commanders, and then we figured out that when manufacturers make bikes, there's your map. Send it to Europe, send it to Africa, send it to Asia, send it to Canada, send it to... So then we found out that for the power commander, we can fine-tune the fueling a little bit for our environment.
That is actually one of the questions I forgot to ask.
Is it? Okay. This comes into flashing as well, but this is why we fitted power commanders, just to be a bit more equal than our friends. Because you don't have to be the fastest bike in the world, but if you're faster than your buddy, just a little bit faster than your buddy, yeah.
I got to the bar first.
Yeah, exactly. So then we started with dynos and fueling, but it was just for like a little bit of an extra edge, which is great. And now, since, like I said, since 2008, they started with restrictions. The bikes can't give out a lot of fumes in built-up areas. First-time guys are buying bikes, these 1,000 RRs. So they take a little bit of power away. There was a manufacturer's agreement where they agreed no bike goes over 299. So that's in place.
That's not expired. I think
everybody cheated so much they just they just dropped it.
With the de-restricted Hayabusa, obviously it said you're not allowed to read more than 299.
Yes, all of our clocks go 299, so there's no proof of it. But
I think after the H2, that agreement kind of fell to the wayside.
It fell to the wayside, but some manufacturer, Suzuki still has it in its ECU. You can click it, unclick it, do what you want to with it.
Oh, is it? So it will go over 299.
It stops at 299.
But if you unclick it?
If you unclick it, then it goes to
3.
Yeah, you can do that from 2001.
Oh, wow.
Just unclick it, open, run as much as you want.
So, sorry, now we again digress.
Okay. So
Flashing is tampering on the ECU.
In 2008, they brought out those restrictions.
Yeah.
Flashing is where we go in and we remove those restrictions. So your 2024 bike pulls like a 2024 bike. But it doesn't necessarily have to do with dyno.
Yeah.
But in the ECU, there are places that we can make changes to the fueling. So we can take the flash, put the bike on the dyno, make changes to the fueling, so we don't need a power commander. So instead of buying a power commander, fitting a power commander, and tuning, we can just take a flash bike, put it on the dyno, and look for a little bit.
So dyno is making your fueling system more efficient.
Yes, because
by correcting your air fuel ratios and putting more power in terms of putting in more fuel. And flashing is by unlocking restrictions on the ECU. And like you mentioned on the previous conversation, was we can lower the temperature of the fan.
We can lower the fan. So South Africa doesn't sell enough bikes. So we either get a bike from Europe or Canada, America, Southeast Asia, Australia. In Europe, in England, it's very cold. They want the bikes to heat up. So they set the fan temp stupid high. They make the bikes run very lean in cities. Like I said, they take a lot of power out through the first couple of gears. On naked bikes, Interior 9s, if you go too fast, you get a bit of a wobble, high-speed wobble. You see the guys, tractors, KTMs, they come down the straight sideways. So on naked bikes, they take power out of the top. So you can't get to a certain speed.
And with a ride-by-wire, that doesn't make it much easier because
ride-by-wire is like a whole other story.
You've got full throttle and the things
yeah,
closing
so
throttle.
it falls under restrictions. If you buy a bike and you don't kill yourself for a while, and you think, I'm pretty good at this, I need more. Bring your ECU, we plug it in. Okay, we can give you a bit more there, we can give you a bit more there. But again, it takes years and years of
know what you're looking at.
Because it's just numbers.
I mean, I
you
can
see
go
32s, 33s, 34s. The ignition timing of a bike could be 34 degrees before top dead center. I know that's a lot already. And then I could get a bike that has 20. So if I see a bike has 20, I'm like, nah, that's a bit low. Why is that low? And then I'll go look at the other map, see why that's low. The reason it's low is because the airbox is a different size, or it runs hot, or there's a small radiator, or there's a lot of stuff. But you need a big understanding of everything before you just go.
Can't just scratch.
Change numbers, yeah. You can't just.
So you can have your bike flashed without your bike even seeing the dyno. I can actually
90% of the flashing, I don't want to see the bike.
I can actually put my ECU in a box, ship it to you, and you can have it flashed.
We're doing quite a lot of mail-in ECUs.
And there you go, guys. Now you know.
Mail-in ECUs, Joburg, Durban, Malaysia. A lot of ECUs from Malaysia. The other thing is Cape Town's a built-up city. Joburg, Durban, PE, Bloem. There are lots of cities in between those cities. Swellendam. There's a hell of a lot of bikes. And nobody to work on them. ECUs. Up the West Coast, tons of ECUs. If you tell me you have your bike's bags on, you have a 2008 GSX 1000. I worked on plenty of those motors. I know exactly what's going on inside the motor. What exhaust do you have? What headers do you have? What air filter do you have? Okay, cool. Go into ECU. Okay, because of that exhaust, I can throw a bit of timing in it, for example. I can take a restriction out there. I'll ask the guys what kind of gearing do they have, what do they use the bike for, how long they're riding. Because if a guy just bought a bike and is riding for a week or so, I don't want to give him everything it's got.
Yeah.
So what I do with ECU tuning is once I've flashed it once, you get a lifetime of changes.
Oh, cool.
So I will, sometimes the first guy, flash it, ride it, get used to it, see if you like it. Tell me what you think of it. Chat in a week or two. The guy will say, I'm a new rider, I don't ride very fast, I like long distance, I like fuel economy, I don't pop through the gears. Then I don't need to work on the gears, I need to work on fuel economy. Different sizes of shapes riders, different routes. West Coast, the guys do distance. Southern suburbs, guys do short stretches.
Night riding.
Yeah. So I'll basically take the restrictions out, let the guy ride it. These damn pops and bangs are so loud, and neighbors are all fuck with me. Okay, mode B, I'll take it off. Or I'll give you a little bit less, or a little bit more. And every single bike I do, I learn something. So, yeah, the MTO 9 guys, there's a lot of MTO 9 guys, the stunters in Cape Town. Lovely guys, I love what they do. They all want something different. Sometimes you want a lot of engine braking, sometimes you don't want engine braking, sometimes you want power in first gear, which is why modes coming into ECUs is really fun now, because I can make a bike a street racer in A, a commuter in B, and I can make C mode. Fuck, I don't know if I want to make it this next fuel station, just calm down, even 30% throttle, I'll pull some timing out. super light on fuel, end of the month due, kind of a thing. And then B mode, you can ride around every day. In A mode, less time. Yeah, technology is amazing. It's very exciting stuff. Very, very exciting stuff. I love it. So I'm doing this for a while. It's entertaining.
Okay, cool. So now, we know now what is flashing. Dyno tuning is all about sorting out the...
Oh, another thing with dyno tuning. With flashing, I had to dyno tune a lot of bikes to learn things. So everybody says throw a degree of timing, of ignition timing on the bike. So I'll dyno a bike, I'll spend a day or two on the bike. Okay, now I know the bike. I'll throw a degree of ignition timing at it. I'll see what it does. I'll see what the temperature does. I'll see what the horsepower does. I'll see what happens in the torque. I'll ride it on the road during the day. I'll ride it on the road during the night. I'm like, oh, that actually makes a huge difference at night. Not cool during the day. You said that.
It wasn't your first.
It makes us the second. It makes a huge difference at night. Small difference during the day. But yeah, bike runs really hot. I don't know if I like it. Does it make a difference? We do it on Suzuki's. Hardly makes a difference. We do it on a Honda. Wow. Hey, why do it make such a big difference on a Honda? I go back and look at the Honda maps. Okay, this timing's way too low. Why? Honda's playing it safe. So they're putting some timing out. Oh, okay. That's interesting. And then I'll go through the different gears and different maps, and even now I'll see something on a Suzuki and oh, that's not right. And I'll go back to a Busa, I'll check a Busa file, I'll check 1000, I'll check a 750. Oh, I see what they did here. The new GS6R 600 750s, 2011 on, have smaller intake ports than the K6, K7s.
Oh.
So I know this from working on engines. And if I look at the two maps, I can see why they made certain changes to the ignition timing and to the fueling because of the difference in the head. The airboxes are different shapes, the throttles are different shapes. Sometimes I'll be looking at a bike and I see that exhaust looks different. They did something. Why did they do this? And then it'll bother me. And 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll get up, I'll open the laptop, I'll look at the ignition. Ah, that's what you did there. And then I'll go to a K6 that I'm building, and then I'll do what they did on that. That's learning. Those men in lab coats know what they're doing. We don't know what we're doing.
That's kind of why they can take a 2006 or 2007 Yamaha R6.
Yeah.
And it's now 15 years later, and they are still bringing out new bikes with the exact same engine.
Yes.
But that engine is being tweaked
completely. Yeah.
Every single time.
My 2006 600, that's a secret, has a completely different motor in, fits perfectly, rides perfectly. It's the same, completely different inside. Ports are a bit different, cams are a bit different, heads are a bit different, pistons are a bit different. It's minute changes, but you can see it on the tuning, you can see it on the maps, you see they do things differently. It's very exciting. And then the other thing is, because I work on a variety of bikes, I kind of follow what Suzuki's doing and the way they're going, and then I see Yamaha's got a crossplane motor. What are they doing with this thing? Now I'll watch the crossplane motor, I'll build a few, check the maps. Kawasaki's doing something, Honda's doing something else, and I'll just watch there, and every once in a while they come together. The 08 R6 came out with electronic throttle bells. Nobody else did it. Everybody else must have thought it's the dumbest idea. Everybody's got a throttle cable. Now all the new bikes have electronic throttle bells. But Yamaha came out with it in 08. That's interesting. And then I will look at Yamaha's maps compared to the new Honda maps. Oh, pretty interesting. Yeah.
So now dyno tuning. Is it safe?
Oh no. It's not safe.
No, man, we're busy advertising you, we're marketing.
It depends on the operator.
Is it safe? Can anybody bring their bike? Do you have limitations to you can't do certain bikes? Firstly, and secondly, if I bring you my bike, do I have a worry that it might break.
Okay. Bearing in mind that it's a tool for something. So essentially, if you have a misfire at quarter throttle in 4th gear, that's difficult to fix that watch. I can put the bike on the dyno, I can run it quarter throttle in 5th gear. The bike's open, I can stand next to the bike, I can measure the exhaust temperature, the air fuel ratio, the charging. That's what a dyno is good for. Essentially, that's the best way to use a dyno. We can use it to adjust the fueling, the ignition timing, all that kind of thing to get the best performance out of it. There are people, Tani, Julian, and then the younger generation, which we Carrion, Terry, Warner Blake, myself.
Please. That's the dyno.
I don't know, apparently. Okay, well, let's call us in the middle generation.
Sorry, quickly, what happened to Frankie?
Frankie decided that he loves bikes more than people, and people annoy him. So he moved his workshop to home, a brilliant workshop there. He works on selected bikes that he wants to work on, belonging to customers that he wants to work with. That's it.
No, there's no more like he's not on the track anymore. He's no more
He
racing.
does do prep. He preps one bike. He comes here, preps the bike, leaves. He doesn't want to deal with other people.
No, but look, he had some big names coming out of his workshop, and he was doing very well. Or his bikes were performing very well.
Let me say 3 things. Being a brilliant mechanic, masterful mechanic like he is, and running a business, two completely different things.
Yeah.
But you have to run a business to be a brilliant mechanic, or to make a living being a brilliant mechanic. And a lot of the times, running a business just isn't worth the pain. Running a business isn't worth the stress of having to work on bikes.
It takes away the fun out of the passion.
If I had all the money in the world, I'd still work on bikes for free. But trying to make a living out of it is, I would say the industry lost a lot of the good mechanics because they either can't run a business or just don't want to run a business.
When I was working
horrible.
in Killarney Gardens, I had one bike that I only took to boats and bikes. What is his name? Mark.
He's another good guy.
Excellent guy.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys where there's a noise in your engine and he comes with a pipe and he comes with a screwdriver.
Experience.
And I was like, this is ex-Yamaha boat mechanic. Then I had my newer bike, and that one I was again, I stopped by Dyno, but then I ended up at Frankie. And that was again what I called a laptop mechanic. Because these are these newer bikes that you need to plug in.
Yeah.
And then and before them, there was those guys that was importing bikes. That was here in Mansell Road or something. That back then, Mandy was still importing.
Yeah.
So it's
in the Undergoede and
I think it was Johannes.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of guys. They've all come and gone, and like again, like you say, Danny and Julian, they are still standing. They rock solid.
Yeah.
The Kewins and these other guys that's up and
coming. Don't forget Kewen and Trevor and all the new guys.
But again, it's if you're in the racing scene, you know everybody. If you're on track often, you know all these guys. You often interact. But then again, you get the guys that's on the road, and they only know the people that's on Facebook.
Yeah. That's
why everybody knows you. It's the marketing thing. It's the bobbins. It's the Dyno. It's the maps.
Hold on a second. But like the guys with the spanner, I always thought, fucking this guy with a screwdriver. So I take a screwdriver and I listen. I don't know what the clutch hub looks like. I don't know what the inner hub, the outer hub. I'm not gonna know there's an anti-rattle plate that he's trying to listen for, or the springs behind the clutch, or the amount of knowledge that the old guys have is insane. And it frustrates me when people that don't have experience or that amount of experience want to be tutors.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, a lot of us, we think we know engines. I grew up in a bonnet. My father had a Ford Cortina 3-liter V6 GLE, and You know that you must trap the brakes and you must hold the torch and you must
Yeah,
pass
yeah,
the
yeah.
screwdriver.
Yeah, get shot track because torch is down here. You.
So we grew up as grease monkeys. I mean, my old uncle, the one used to race rally cars. The other one
Uncles
built
used to
up
rally.
classic
Amazing.
cars. And it's through some of my uncles that I became a biker and started getting a bike and all of that sort of stuff. But okay, I think this video's gone on for way too long. I don't
didn't get to anything I wanted to
know
say.
if we touched all the aspects of what the dyno can do. I hope that we've actually made it interesting for you guys that are watching.
You're just going to have more questions than answers here.
Yeah, guys, if you have any questions, post it in the comments. We can touch on it again at a later stage. But for now, you have an event coming up.
We have an event coming up on Saturday at Killarney. It is a Dyno Day. It's a new upcoming group in biking. Brilliant, guys. You must attend.
$300.
$300. You get the best of 3 runs, power, torque, air fuel ratio. Come speak to me and I'll tell you everything that I didn't get to tell Clayton.
Yeah. It's free entry. Kids are welcome. Bring the whole family. There'll be food. There'll be drinks.
Yeah.
There'll be a bar.
There won't be a bar. There'll be a coffee bar and a pancake bar and
Snacks.
some food and all that old food.
So yeah. So that's this Saturday, the 8th of February.
Not on the track day side, on the other side, the grass of the clubhouse.
At his workshop? No, on the clubhouse.
Clubhouse. At the grass at the back.
Killarney clubhouse.
On the back straight. 10 till 6.
10 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Family day. Bring wives, bring family. Bring girlfriends. Don't bring wife and girlfriend.
Unless you want to.
That's your thing.
Unless you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, you
There's a play area. There's a nice patch of grass for the kids to play on. Like you said, it's free entry.
Yeah, there's a kiddies corners. There's a little racetrack for the kiddies.
You're only basically paying if you're putting your bike on the dyno. David will be working that entire day, so you won't really get a chance to chat to him. He'll be on the bike on the dyno.
I'm sure.
But if you have any questions, you can come to the office beforehand.
You don't have to come. You don't have to put your bike on the dyno if you come.
Yeah.
Come. Meet some people. There'll be tractor guys, there'll be road racers, there'll be drag racers, there'll be breakfast run guys.
It's hosted by
guys that don't ride bikes. There'll be car guys. Ride and road and race.
Road and race. So
just a bunch of guys that like bikes and crazy about bikes.
They're on TikTok,
Mental.
Facebook. Yeah, on Facebook and TikTok.
They're everywhere. These guys ride all the time. They ride every single night. They talk about bikes all the time. They think about bikes all the time. I don't know when they sleep. I've never met a bunch of guys more passionate about bikes. They're crazy about this stuff.
They host, I think they're the guys also that's currently hosting the midnight coffee runs, or not the midnight ones, that's a different group.
Yeah.
They do the midweek.
They're a bunch of guys who meet up at the petrol station, you have some coffee,
Wednesday
petrol
night,
station.
Thursday night, 9 p.m., that sort of thing.
They are actually the definition of cafe races. They go from a coffee shop to coffee shop. Maybe there's a bit of racing in between. Good guys, fun. Promote the bikes and stuff.
But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Thank you for chatting to me, David.
First time on camera.
First time on camera. We only spent 2 hours
getting the camera set up. Yeah.
But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All our links is going to be below. The links to the event, the links to get hold of David, all of that sort of stuff. So thanks, guys. Peace.